Today, we are going to learn vocabulary. However, it is broken into two sections. One of the section is nearest in meaning. And so, today we are actually going to learn on the vocabulary, the section nearest in meaning. Now, if you follow this lesson very well, at the end of it, you should be able to score high in questions covering vocabulary. So pay attention. Let us start with our questions. We are looking at question 1. The president's brother is a complete nonentity. So what is our answer? Now, if you look at our options, they are all in what I would call the negative. Okay, no. We have B, we have C, we have D that are negatives. An upstart does not necessarily, it's not necessarily a negative. But if you know the meaning of nonentity, you will know that it is not a positive term. So that helps you. That is one area you need to be watching out for when you are answering vocabulary questions. You first of all look at the polarity of your term. Is it positive or negative? Now, when you have done that, then you'll be able to know the answers you first of all have to remove or eliminate. You have to learn how to eliminate. So I'll start giving you the meanings, something like in a beginner and all that. Or definitely it's not a negative term. Now let's look at person of inexperience. That is a negative term, but is that our answer? No. A nonentity is someone that is actually not regarded as important. That is what it is. So, person of inexperience does not capture the totality of not being valued. It could be a child that is learning his or her way. So that doesn't really mean that the person is not regarded, just the person's status. So we move to D, vagabond. Should that be our answer? Vagabond, yes, is within that region, but it seems too extreme for the term nonentity. Because it has to be, well, not just being not regarded as important, but it's somebody who is actually highly wayward, so wayward that may not be found in homes and all that. So vagabond is then eliminated. That brings our answer to a riffraff. A riffraff is someone that is not regarded as important. So our answer to question 1, the president's brother is a complete nonentity, is B, riffraff. Now let's look at number 2. The result of the election would have been different if some people had not been disenfranchised. So you look at this, our word underlined is disenfranchised. Now, that word is from the Register of Politics of Government. So that is the first thing you have to locate. Now you come down. What are our options? We have A, dishonor. Dishonor you eliminate because the word dishonor is neutral to the Register of Politics. It has no special meaning within the Register of Politics. That is the word dishonor. So we can comfortably remove dishonor. Remember that as you eliminate those words, as you eliminate them, the options, your work becomes easier. Your work becomes easier. So we can remove A. Now what are the other options? We have banned from contesting, allowed to read, and then D, prevented from voting. These are terms or expressions that we can find within the Register of Politics. So we can, on the basis of that, we cannot eliminate anyone. So we must therefore come to know, to look at the meaning of the word disenfranchised. But then even before we do that, we can, in terms of semantics, meaning, derivation, we can begin to look at allowed to read. Now it will be absurd for somebody to be making a statement and predicating it on the fact that there was reading. So if you look at it from that angle, well, you can begin to play with the idea of eliminating C. Then before we come to the meaning of disenfranchise. To disenfranchise is to make somebody not eligible to vote. Not eligible. It can be within the constitution of the place. Before now, in some places women don't vote. Then slaves don't vote and things like that. Those people are disenfranchised. Even in Nigeria, there are people who are disenfranchised from voting. People who are below the age of 18 don't vote. Those are people disenfranchised. So the country can decide to say, no, even at the age of 12, people are already knowledgeable, let them vote. And then as from that moment, people from that age will begin to vote from 12 onward. But for now, only 18. So 17 years, people who are 17 years of age are disenfranchised. So that therefore takes our answer to become D, prevented from voting. So our answer to question number 2 is D, prevented from voting. So the result of the election would have been different if some people had not been prevented from voting. It's the same thing if some people had not been disenfranchised from voting. Now, question number 3 reads, Emeka could visit Lagos. Our word we're looking at is cool. Now, this question has grammar laced into it, but of course, the weight is on meaning. The word could is an auxiliary verb, a modal auxiliary verb having the past form. That modal auxiliary verb having the past form actually carries a number of meaning. For example, the word could used here is hypothetical, and so it doesn't carry the weight of certainty. So that is one thing. Of course, remember too that it's in the past, so we have it could. The present form of could is can. Present form of the word could is can. So using it here makes it hypothetical. For example, one could say, I could do the work. I could do the work. Either you just placing it in the past, or you are sounding hypothetical that you could do it, but you don't want to do it. So that is the point. So having said that, let's look at option A and put it there whether it carries the same meaning. Emeka could visit Lagos. If you say Emeka should visit Lagos, the meaning we have with Emeka could visit Lagos is a different thing entirely. That is, Emeka could visit Lagos, but he's not visiting Lagos. Now, if you say Emeka should visit Lagos, you are giving strong advice that he should. It is a thing he should do. It is a thing he must do. Almost the same weight with Emeka must visit Lagos. Close to that. So you see that in terms of meaning, A cannot work. Then, if you take option B, Emeka will visit Lagos. That carries a whole lot of meaning of certainty that he will go, or very sure that he will go. What we have in the meaning Emeka could visit Lagos is that he could, but it is not a thing that is certain to happen. Unlike the meaning we have in B, Emeka will visit Lagos. Then we'll come back to option D. Emeka can visit Lagos. Yes, Emeka can visit Lagos. One thing you must just realize that D can't work is that if D can work, why the option of could? Because they are the same words. What separates them is the tense you have there. That one is could and the other is can. They're the same. So that tells you that D cannot work. It carries the same different sense from when we use could. So our answer therefore becomes C. Might visit Lagos. Might is a word that doesn't carry certainty. Might is a word that doesn't carry certainty. So it takes the same meaning with could. Emeka could visit Lagos, Emeka might visit Lagos. So there is no certainty in the two expressions. That makes our answer to the C. Question number 4 reads, the story she told was quite incredulous. Our term on the line is incredulous. Now, take option A. The story she told was quite incredulous. And then we look at the story she told was quite irritating. Well, that sounds a bit possible, but usually we don't talk about irritating stories. And so you begin to have your doubt on A. Then let's look at C. The story she told was quite artificial. Stories, do we have natural stories and artificial stories? So that is the question you ask, and so you cast, then you have that too in C, because naturally we don't talk about natural stories and artificial stories. In fact, most stories, if you're talking of fiction, are created. Most stories are created, so they are usually artificial, but we don't use that sense on them that they are artificial. We'll talk of that they are fictions. That is it. So you can cast your doubt on A and C. So naturally we can talk of interesting story. You say that story is interesting. Then you can also talk of a story that people can't believe. That this story is not, we can't believe that. It's sounding too large. Now that you look at the word incredulous. You know, when you say something is incredible, something that looks so large, so wonderful. Now we can begin to derive some meaning from the word incredible, if you know that, to incredulous. So when we say that something is incredulous, it means that that thing, particularly a story, is the way it is told, that it cannot be true. It cannot be believed. That is the point. So when the story is incredulous, it is an unbelieving story. We can't believe that. That is an incredulous story. And so your focus will have been on B and D. But then if you know some level of meaning of the word incredulous, then you know that your answer is B. That is your answer. We can't believe that story she told. That means the story is too fantastic, something like that, too large to be believed. Question 5. Her behavior is quite erratic. Her behavior is quite erratic. Now we can begin to eliminate A. We don't normally talk about confusing behavior. Her behavior is quite confusing. No, somebody's behavior cannot really confuse us. It is what maybe somebody says that can confuse us. So we can comfortably remove A and begin to work with B, C, and D. Now, in some cases, the context of the question can help you to pick an answer. But in some other cases, the context will not help you at all. Just as we have, if you look at some of the questions we've been examining, you discover that you can, if you don't know the meaning of the word underline, you can go within the passage, you can go within the sentence, and so contextually you know the meaning of some other words that are linked to it, and then you use the meaning that you know from those areas to work the answer or the meaning in the word underline, and then from there you cannot begin to pick your answer. In some other cases, it is within the options that you begin to get your answers. Okay, so but in this case, we seem not to have that. So the only help we have been able to get so far is A, that we eliminated. That it is difficult to talk about someone's behavior confusing us. You know, So it's a little bit absurd to say that. So we can begin to think of, oh, A can be the answer. Now we come to the other option. It's possible for one to say her behavior is quite annoying. That is correct. It's possible for us it's possible to say that her behavior is quite friendly. Yes, that is correct, but there too it's sounding a little bit awkward. So one can also begin to look at C, but that is far better than the word confusing. So then we have B. Her behavior is quite unpredictable. So what is the meaning of erratic? Erratic is something that is irregular, something that doesn't have a standard way of occurring. It is irregular. It is something you don't know how it will occur the next time it occurs, how it is the next time, and all that. So an erratic behavior is a behavior you can't place, you can't follow, and all that. So our answer is unpredictable. Our behavior is quite unpredictable. The person behaves this way now, and by the next time she comes up with an aspect of her behavior, it's a different thing entirely. So our answer then is unpredictable. Her behavior is quite erratic, means that her behavior is quite unpredictable, cannot be predicted. Now let's take some questions to try our hands. Question 1. In serious discussions, Mr. Query usually holds jaundiced views. The word underlined is jaundiced. The word underlined is jaundiced. What are our answers? Our options. We have A, sick, B, prejudiced, C, unscrupulous, and D, suspicious. So from here you pick your answer. Now question 2. I am ready to debunk all of the allegations. The word underlined is debunk. What are the options? We have A, supported, B, prove false, C, debate, and D, resolve. Question 3. He made the point with so much audacity. He made the point with so much audacity. The word underlined is audacity. Now, what are the options? We have order, A, B, temerity, C, wisdom, and D, syllogism. Question 4 now. I have never seen a couple like this. Their love affair has been tempestuous. Their love affair has been tempestuous. The word underlined is tempestuous. Okay? Now what are the options? We have A, tempting, B, secretive, C, emotional, and D, affectionate. Then question 5. Recreation is important to health. Now what is the word underlined? Recreation. What are the options? Creativity. That's A, B, treasure, C, leisure, and D, pleasure.